Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McElmore.
All right. Wow. Good evening, everyone. Oh, boy. Welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have Carrie Colella, founder and owner at Listen First Consulting. Welcome, Kerry.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having me.
Hey, it's my pleasure, and welcome on board here. And I believe that you are from the Washington, D.C. metro area, correct?
I do. I live in D.C. now. I'm originally from Georgia, Carrollton, Georgia, which is about 50 miles west of Atlanta. So when I say Atlanta, people can get kind of an area of where I'm from. I've been here a little over 20 years, but I go home every year, at least twice a year.
Okay. All right. Well, it's always great to talk to somebody who's from this community, because normally a lot of the women I talk to and interview, they're all coming from other areas and some even internationally. So I always love to be able to talk to my homegirls, as I say, right next door to me, because I'm right here in Alexandria, Virginia myself. So
That's great.
Yeah, so it's great to have you on. So you just talked a little bit about yourself as far as where you're from, but why don't you tell the listeners just a little bit more about yourself before we actually dive into talking about the business itself?
Well, I am, what can I say, divorced now, single mother of 3 adult children. All of them are college graduates, which I'm very proud to have that happen. And my youngest has a master's, so I'm really good. And so I recently transitioned out of my full-time government job, and now I'm full-time in my, in my attempt to expand my business, and that's where my focus is right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really great to hear. I meet a lot of women who are going through that transition. It's funny that you even talk about that. I'm going through that same process where, a lot of us are going through and understanding that we want to have a lot of different income streams, but at the same time, we really want to be able to focus on our businesses and build them the way that we want to, because this is what I always look at it, is that this is how I want to live the rest of my life.
This is your time. This is my time.
Exactly. So congratulations on your wonderful 3 young men that you have. Your children there, and then you got the one that just got the masters, right? So that's awesome.
I have 2 girls and 1 boy.
So it's 2 girls and 1 boy. Okay.
My youngest is a young man.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say after having 2 girls, it was a whole different thing on parenting.
You're right. I have a son who's 29, so I know. I love having boys, so it's much easier. I just have my one, so I was like, yay, I'm done. Exactly. So tell me then a little bit, let's talk a little bit about Listen First Consulting. Explain to me how you came up with the title, and then what is it that you actually do? Okay,
well, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I started Listen First Consulting a few years back. In 2013, I did receive my doctorate degree in organizational leadership from Argosy University. And for my dissertation, I did a study in a large child welfare agency on the communication practices between and among frontline employees and management and leadership. And in that, the results of that survey, which did not surprise me, was that it showed that there was a serious gap between the communication from management down to frontline staff. Mm-hmm. And so that's what gave me the inspiration for the title of my company, Listen First Consulting. It's really focused on communication practices, mm-hmm. And how they can. I offer people ways of how they can improve that. I have a program that I do offer.
Okay. Yeah. And I agree with you. I mean, I was listening to what you were just saying about basically, people don't listen. And when we're on these jobs, I absolutely agree that it's always coming from the top, and they never really want to hear what the worker bees, as we're always called, need to say or have to say, because we lead the pack and keeping these organizations moving. And I think it's very important that our voices are being heard. So when you're training or you're getting a clientele, What is the process that you go through with that clientele to understand what is it that you think that they actually need, and then give me some ideas of what some of the tips that you would be offering that client?
Well, the first thing I do try to do is I try to make the program that I offer them specific and unique to their agency or their organization.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to go in with first of all, an overall assessment of what's happening now and what they would like to see happen. I don't like to take the position that I know all of the answers. I want to know where they want to go with the agency, what they want to accomplish. And then I set out to establish a program that's uniquely tailored to their agency. And of course, they get a chance to sign off or, tweak it. We work together in collaboration to try to find ways to improve the communication streams. I think that once they do find that, they will discover that it was, it really works and that it was worth their time and investment.
Right. Now, do you also work like with small businesses or actually individuals? Because I think that, with having so many people coming out and starting their businesses, that would actually be something phenomenal to have, to kind of just learn just smaller pieces of understanding. This is what it takes to, if you plan on growing your business, these are some ideas or things that you might want to work on to help that base.
Well, I would certainly encourage people to do that. I like the idea of working with small businesses who are starting up, but it doesn't have to be starting up businesses. People, if they feel that they are having an issue and a problem, they shouldn't be quiet about that. They should ask for help, because what we want to do is improve their bottom line, improve their outcomes, and help them accomplish their goals.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
if they're not accomplishing their goals, if they're stuck trying to work around these hurdles, that's just making their work harder.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we live in such a society today where it seemed like for a while that it was okay for you to be able to say what you need to say. Didn't feel like there was going to be any ramifications, or any concerns. And then now we're kind of like back into the shell because we're not sure what we can or cannot say without having to worry about how is it going to get back. We've got all this technology today, all these little other innuendos and things going on that surround us in our workplace environment and even outside of our workplace environment. Trust, I think, is obviously a number one issue, but just having the freedom to feel like you can voice your opinion and your concerns without having any ramifications. How do you help individuals get around that base?
Yes, I think that's right. And what I'm hoping for is, because I think that there's a lot of pain associated with that kind of practice and that kind of behavior. Mm-hmm. So what I'm hoping to see now is for people to realize, okay, we've tried this, we've tried that. We got the latest innovation program going. We got this and we got that, but still it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel free. It doesn't feel like a growing environment. So I'm hoping that it will swing back to that time and area where people, even with the high tech and programs and innovation, that they need to realize, and they are moving towards realizing, that behind the innovation, behind the programs are real people.
Absolutely. Agree with you 100%. And that's the difference of today and what it used to be, I think, is the fact that we had no choice but to stand there and talk to each other and communicate in a way where today that communication is somewhat lost because everybody wants to use the technology. And the part of using that technology is a way that people can hide behind how they really feel, versus really coming out and having that one-on-one conversation that will save you 99% of your issues, and your concerns if they're communicated. So
exactly, without a doubt. And I would say that's correct. And, when you asked about individuals a minute ago, I should have mentioned that I am also a certified Dream Builder coach, where we help people this is under the Life Mastery Institute by Mary Morrissey, where we help people to really define what it is that they love. I was one that was stuck in an agency where I knew that the environment was not such that, creativity was encouraged, but I still felt that I had to do that because, of course, I had family obligations.
Right.
Now that that's not the case, it's just me. Now I can venture out, but it would have helped me at some point long ago to have this, investigated and sought out what it was that really I loved. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do on an individual coaching basis. We help people to figure out what it is that they really love to do, and then give them, a path to reaching their goals and reaching the things that they really love to do with their life.
Right. And I think that's important, because something, kind of backtrack what you just said, that while you were working within the agency, they tell you to do one thing, but when you try to go step outside that little line or that color, you get pushed back into it, and you really can't voice your opinion or do things, outside the box, because, they say, even though they'll tell you, well, you can think this out and do it your way, and, let's see how this works. But then at the end of the day, people really don't have that freedom. And so, so I think, having the opportunity to be coached, and then I think a part of it too, when you look at some of our millennials today, that's the reason why they don't want to be in these work environments, because they don't have the capability to think the way that they want to think and use the freedoms of their talents. So more and more people like us are, constantly starting our own businesses.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. The millennials, I do have a lot of hope for the millennials, because they're so into discovering, first of all, what it is they love, and they are reaching to do that, even though their support, the financial support, might not be there. They're not like the baby boomers who had to put the financial aspect above what me personally would have wanted. Mm-hmm. But the millennials, I feel hope for them, because they're willing to put the finances to the side and go for what they love and what they dream about.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think, like I said, with the baby boomers and even my generation, I'm right behind that group there. And it, but I sit back and think about how many years, like I always tell people, I'm in my 50s now. And so I'm like living my second chapter of life, really being able to explore and do the things that make me happy. And, because it's always been there, you always have, like you said, that hidden talent, and those talents are inside of you, but it's deciding when you want to bring them out and when you want to utilize them for your best. Because we all realize that, money is an essential, but it doesn't necessarily make you happy. So, so once you can find that true happiness, and with your coaching capabilities and seeing that in individuals, I think that is a plus, because we all need to be coached in some type of way. It's just understanding what it is that we need help with. And really, I guess, the world part of it is saying, hey, I do need help. Like you said, raising a hand and, hey, I need help. Will you be able to help me? What can you do? And exactly. I think that your program is awesome. So I have a couple questions for you. Tell me a little bit about some of the challenges you're facing, that since you've come out of being, in an agency for many years and now you're on your own, what have you seen that's been a concern or an issue for you?
Well, I haven't been out of my full-time job very long, last week, as a matter of fact. But, while I was in my full-time job, one thing that I longed for was more time. It's like one day I got up and I said, I really don't have time to go to work today. I need to finish up this little project. So, I just feel like the time that I now will have is going to mean a lot for me. So I think that my barrier has been time right now. And now that I'm, able to spend more time in it, I feel like the time goes so fast because I'm doing something that I love.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when I was in the 9 to 5, it was like the time clock started going backwards around 3 o'clock.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, because you're sitting there, because really what it boils down to is that you have no focus left. It's like, you're sitting there thinking, man, is it time to go home yet? I got all these other things that I could be doing, and I'm sitting here. And, and that's the harsh reality, that once you make that decision, I guess, wanting to become a business owner and knowing that this is the love, that you've been wanting to share with other people and your services that you provide, you get that anguish, inside of you that you just can't sit there and deal with. And I still struggle with that every day myself. I'm like, man, okay, do I take that leap now, or do I need to wait? Because there's all these different things that you're going through. Like you said, you got family, you got responsibilities. And even though, I think the funny part about it is, even though none of those responsibilities ever leave or change,
Correct.
that comfort zone has changed,
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right.
hmm
So, yeah. So one thing that I guess I should point out here is that when you do make that decision to take that leap, start a planning process. The thing that Mary Morrissey interested me and intrigued me with about a year and a half ago, I was listening to one of her videos, and she said, if you look at your life today and you don't do anything different, a year from now, you'll be looking at the same life.
hmm
So planning like in my case, I planned my way out of it. I didn't just jump.
hmm
I'm courageous, but I'm not that courageous. I didn't just leave without a plan. So I would encourage people to always be thinking about if they're in something that they are having to endure for right now, that they need to set out a plan. And of course, I'm willing to help help them to do that with my coaching business. But I don't encourage people to just up and leave, because your life is not only your life; it belongs to those that you love. And so you have to look at your situation and see what would be comfortable and what the process should look like when you do make your exit.
Exactly. And because I see I have definitely talked to many women who have taken that leap of faith, and just said they just couldn't do it anymore. I had a couple interviews like that, but I think it all depends on the individual. And some people just don't. They want to be able to plan afterwards, but then realize, I think that like you said, the planning part is probably the most important part. And that's with anything that you do in business, whether you started yesterday, today, or 10 years from now, you want to be able to have a plan in place, because as you go through this process of being a business owner, you're going to be planning everything out, whether you like it or not, because, nothing is guaranteed. And so you have to make sure that you're prepared to handle those up days and those down days, because you're going to have plenty of them going through business.
Exactly.
So, when if another one was to come and talk to you about wanting to start a business, what advice would you give them?
Oh, in addition to the planning,
Mm-hmm.
the finances, of course, I would say focus on exactly what it is you want to do, and then I guess assemble the tools necessary to get it done. So I think that I'm a big believer in collaboration. And I think that even if someone doesn't have a coach, they need to talk to other people about what it is they're interested in doing. Mm-hmm. And I would say those that are already in the same field that you're interested in. So there are going to be some mistakes that they can talk about to you that there's no way you could know it unless you're in it. So, I just think that collaborating with others that are in the field or in the business that you are interested in just could save you a whole lot of time and money.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Yes. Collaboration is the key. And the big part of that is because, like you said, a part of it is that not having to reinvent the wheel. There are other people out here who are doing what you were doing.
Yes.
But you're going to do it differently because it's your process of thinking and how you feel that you can better that particular service or product that you are providing. And I always try to make a lot of my clients understand too, is that sharing your resources is the most important thing, because there's plenty out here for everybody.
That's right. There's no lack.
None.
And people should realize that they bring, like you said, they bring their own unique purpose and way with them. Mm-hmm. No one else can do that. They have their own unique fingerprint. I'm in the middle of writing another book called, fingerprintology. That's you. Nobody can be like you. Yours is the only fingerprint that there is. God is amazing and awesome, but that's right. You have your own fingerprint and no one else has it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's always great, to hear these types of things. When we talked a little bit earlier before we actually started the interview, where it's always really important for people to understand that there's always a process to anything, and that we're all human, and that you're getting to hear these stories and share your understanding of what it takes to be in business, the challenges, the successes that come with that. And, and there's always somebody out there who's going to be able to connect with you.
Yes. Yes. I mean, if it wasn't, in our field, if it wasn't productive, no one would be doing it. But since it is productive, a lot of people are doing it.
Exactly. But then there's the other side of that coin of, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it,
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be successful if it was easy anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So on that note, do you have a way that listeners can get a hold of you?
Well, I am on all social media, Instagram, Dr. C.A. Colella. I have a Facebook page, facebook.com/I am Dr. Kerry. And then I have my Dream Builder webpage, which is dreambuilders.com. Dream Builder Coach, Carrie Colella .dreambuildercoach.com. So what I'm working on now is creating a single website so that people can go one place and get access to all of my media from that one webpage. And so that's in the works right now. I'm so anxious to have that done and have it completed, and so people can find me right there and get services there as well. But so that's just in the making. But right now I can be reached on Facebook, Instagram, and then the Dream Builder Coach page.
All righty. Well, that is awesome. And I do want to thank you for coming on tonight. Do you have any last words for our guest?
Well, the only thing that I wanted to add is that, I talked a little bit about coaching individuals that are in transition, maybe from a job or a marriage or whatever, children, parents dying or whatever, parents aging out. I'm for helping people in transition. I have a particular interest for women coming out of the prison system. So I'm going to be reaching out to those agencies that house and hold, maybe the probation officer that hold these women coming out of the prison system, because I think they would be a prime candidate for our Dream Builder coaching program to get them refocused in a life more positive.
All right. Well, again, thank you for that information. And like I said, I do appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us tonight. For everyone else, you can also find us on iHeartRadio now. So we're not just on Spreaker, we're on iHeartRadio. And of course, you can reach out to us on any of the social media platforms. But until the next time, you all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.